Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo 7. We are back with another week and of course another new lap time challenge. So let's get into the game and check out the details. So the new challenge is on Autodrome Lago Maggiare in the Afeela Prototype of 2024. I think this is a cooperation of Sony and Honda, so let's check out the details of this one. And the current time to beat is at 2:18.9, so I'm not sure if this is tough, but let's find out. So full EV, let's go for the first lap. Oh, rather sketchy. Okay, I see. And not that high amount of power, but okay. Okay, I guess we're far from gold. I need some practice to do this one. And after some practice, let's review my fastest lap. Going down the main straight with some good amount of speed out of the last corner, your first brake marker will be between the third and second of these black signs on top. So try to brake in between these two, keeping it in a straight line and then going for the apex of the first corner. You can cut a lot of the curb, shortly hitting the power and keeping it narrow for this right-hander before going back to the power, trying to straighten up the car, and then your next marker will be where the two lines on the track actually cross each other. There is no need to brake for this left-hander, just lift slightly and let the car roll through the corner going to the very left before your next brake marker will be the end of this orange barrier on the right. So once this leaves your screen, brake shortly and then let the car roll again through this right-hand corner, not hitting the posts in the center cause this will invalidate your lap. Go back early on the power for the back straight and be prepared for your next brake marker, which will actually be the yellow big box next to the track. At the end of this one, brake in a straight line and keep it on the very left of the track. Go for delayed apex, going back early to the power, using all of the track width to go uphill on this one. Position your car again to the very right and at the beginning of this curb on the right, brake shortly in a straight line before turning into the left-hander. For this section, try to abuse the track limits. You can cut a lot of this curb on the left as well as here on the right and again on the left, using a bit of lifting the accelerator pedal to use load changes to turn the car in. The following section is actually flat out, but if you feel a bit uncomfortable in this right-hander, you may also slightly lift, but then back on the power, preparing for the next big braking zone that will be slightly behind the 100-meter board on top. Or if you prefer, you may also use this black board on the right-hand side once it hits the edge of your screen. Go hard to the brakes, keeping it on the left, and go for delayed apex to then hit the power early and try to take a good amount of speed to this uphill section. Position the car to the very right of the track, and for the left-hander again only slightly lift, using load changes to rotate the car, position it to the left, and for the right-hander again only slightly lift and then early back on the power. Then the marshal post on the left is the next brake point for you. Shortly brake hard in a straight line, keeping it narrow to the curb on the right hand side, early back on the power, using all of the width of the track to the very left, and then again not braking, only lifting the accelerator pedal to rotate the car through the right hander and keeping it narrow for this left hander. Then your last brake marker is a bit tough to see, but it's actually the end of this fence on the right hand side here. So brake at the end of this fence and then keep it really narrow for the left hand corner. You can cut a lot of this curb, let the car roll through the corner and try to get early on the power, staying on the track and going to the main straight again. And before reviewing the lap in chase cam, feel free to smash that like button and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss next week's video. So in chase cam again, going down the main straight with a good amount of speed out of the last corner, your first brake marker will be in between the third and second black sign on top. Brake in a straight line and keep it really narrow for this first corner, cutting a lot of the curb, positioning the car to the left, braking shortly and keeping it narrow for this really tight right-hander. Early back on the power, and where the two white lines on the track cross each other, you might only want to lift the accelerator pedal and not use the brake. Position the car again to the left of the track and at the end of this orange barrier on the right, brake shortly and keep it narrow for this right-hander, going early back on the power for the back straight. Get prepared for your next brake marker, that will be the big yellow zone on the left of the track. At the end of this zone, hit the brakes hard and keep it long time on the left, going for delayed apex, early back on the power when hitting this curb and using all of the width of the track to accelerate up this uphill section. Position the car to the right of the track and at the beginning of this curb on the right, brake shortly in a straight line before turning into the left-hander. Try abusing a lot of the track limits, you can really cut a lot of these curbs. But do not hit the brakes for this left-hander, slightly lift the accelerator pedal and use load changes to rotate the car. Now back on the power, this one is actually flat out. If you feel uncomfortable in this right-hander, you can give it a slight lift before going to the downhill section in this car, maxing out the speed. Your next brake marker will be slightly behind the 100 board. Brake in a straight line and try to go for the late apex of this right-hand corner so you can get back on the power early and take a lot of speed to this uphill section. Position your car to the very right of the track, and for the left-hander again only lift the accelerator pedal and use load changes to rotate the car. Position it to the very left for the next right-hander, again slightly lift the accelerator pedal and early back on the power. Your next brake marker then will be the marshals on the left-hand side of the track. Brake in a straight line shortly, keep it narrow for this right-hander, early back on the power on the apex using all the width of the track to the very left here, then lifting again to rotate the car for the right-hander again, early back on the power, abusing track limits and this curb on the left before going to the last braking zone that will be at the end of the fence on the right. Hit the brakes in a straight line and turn in early, because you can really abuse this curb on the left hand side, so you can hit the power very early and take a lot of speed to the main straight to hopefully get a gold time and the 2 million credits in this challenge. So I think this was rather disappointing and boring this week, but maybe let me know down in the comments, what do you think of this challenge? Should BD come up with something more special? That's it again for this week's video now. Feel free to smash that like button and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss next week's video with a hopefully more enjoyable challenge. And then I hope to see you in this one. Bye bye.